Hi everyone, and welcome to another cast iron sickness video, or if you want to be nicer about it, what I prepped today. So I have a source who does house clean outs, yard sales, auctions, that sort of thing, I guess, and when he gets cast iron, he hands it to his wife and she calls me. So she called me or messaged me and said she had 3 pans, and she gave me one price on all of them. And I don't have a Dutch oven this small. Is that even a Dutch oven when it's that small? But this is the standard sized Dutch oven. It's 5 quarts. So I guess this is 2 quarts maybe. And they have, she said they put mineral oil on them for me to stop the rust. I don't know if that works, but yeah, that says 2 quarts made in USA. And none of them are, if you're the cast iron connoisseurs, none of them are spectacular. And then there's that one says 5 quart made in USA, and it has a circle with a dot in it underneath that. And the cauldron. Yep. And it's pretty pitted. We looked underneath. It has legs. There's no markings underneath. Can you help me turn it over again? He left. Oh, he said yeah. So we were looking and didn't see any markings, and then when you stand at an angle, you kind of see letters there. What did they look like? J something? Just big letters. They're like that big. That's where they're at. It's hard to see them. JT maybe? It's just like an inscribed pencil marking. JD maybe? I don't know. Real hard to see. That's what it looks like inside. Yeah, this is not something I'm going to be able to manage. And there's the underneath. Okay, put it down. Even the lid is super heavy. This is probably a campfire one, I suppose. I don't know how old it is, how new it is, but it needs loved. So I'm going to tell you how much I paid for that after I tell you. I was looking on Marketplace, and I saw a guy saying he had a bunch of stuff to get rid of for sale, and I saw these sitting on a blanket in his living room. They were moving, and he said he didn't want to take anything but his clothes. And then I saw this. Well, I know some men who really like this kind of stuff. And so I messaged him. He had some, I thought they were enameled cast iron pans, but when I went there, they were ceramic. So he said, I mentioned how much for this, the pans, and the red pans, and he said $35 for all of it. He said $5 for this, $10 for those, and yeah, so that would have been $20 for the pans. But I don't like ceramic because I'm just going to break it. And so when I went there, I said, okay, well, these are glass. I thought they were enameled. I don't want them. So I paid him $5 for this and $10 for these 2 pans. That has a number 8 on it. And it says skillet on the bottom. It's really in need of some love. And then this one doesn't have a marking here. It's a lot lighter. And it just says 8E on it. So I'm guessing that, it says favorite. I've heard of that. Favorite at the top. I think that was a brand made for a store by, I'm not sure which company. Maybe Wagner. I'm not real sure. So that's what that is. And I'm pretty sure E is going to be the mold letter. They used to have A through whatever. A, B, C, D doesn't really mean anything on a pan. It just means that's the mold number. So if they started having cookware that would crack, they'd see what mold number it was, and then they'd just replace that mold. So then he said, look, I got all this other stuff for sale. So it's a G.I. Joe. I got it for my grandson. It's an older one. It's one that would be probably ones that my sons would have had. And So I said, well, I'm at $17. Here, just take 20. He's like, no, just make it 15. I said, no, just take 20. He said, okay, fine, I'll take 20 and I'll throw in this, which I had already told him I didn't want those because we just use cardboard and make our own targets. And a belt. I think that's a holster. Is this belt band a holster? Is this belt band a holster? Yes. Okay. So, and then he threw a rifle strap in, and he threw in the stand, you know, to the gun rest. So, I paid $20 for 2 cast iron pans, G.I. Joe, some little bit of gun equipment, and a pretty heavy, it's a heavy duty target. And then for this, she gives me good prices. So I would have, not going to say what I would have paid for this, but for all of this, I paid $60 for all 3 pieces. I would have given 20 for this. I probably would have been at 10 or 15 for this, only because I don't buy expensive. Like, there are people who would fix this up and resell it for, I mean, you can find cast iron prices all over the neighborhood, like price-wise. So I would have given 20 for this one, but I really don't need another Dutch oven. So I think we have 2 here, couple in storage. So I might clean this one up for my daughter. I don't believe we have any small Dutch ovens, and that is just adorable. So I probably would have gone 15 on that, only because I would want to pay 10, but because I don't have any, I'd jump to 15. Because I've learned that if you pass up something that you know is a good deal, you're going to regret it. That doesn't mean you go buy everything you want. You just got to weigh everything. I told you the story before about the cauldron that I passed up for $30. They didn't have a lid, and it was a little wider than this one, and it probably sat up twice as tall as this one. And I passed it up. So here's a tape measure. The cauldron is 16 inches across, and including the lid, stands almost 8 inches high. The 2-quart Dutch oven is 8 inches by about 3. And the 5-quart looks like about 4.5 by 10. So all in all, I think it was a really good deal, and I don't think I got in trouble with Mr. Pennsylvania Prepper. Let me see. Did I get in trouble, or was I okay? Good. He said good. Man, a few words. Unless you were here a minute ago. But anyway, so these have actually been in my car for 2 days, and they are freezing. They're like radiating coldness into the house. It's crazy. So imagine if they were warm and I needed them to radiate heat. So normally when I clean these, I soak them in vinegar. It's just a really messy job because the rust in the vinegar that comes off will stain everything it touches, and you're not even getting it out of your laundry, even with bleach. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this one. Maybe some surface sanding, and I don't know. I might end up ruining it because it already has some pitting. It was probably kept outside or used at a bonfire. And like I said, I may just post it on some cast iron sites and see if somebody can age it for me. It might just be a newer one and not even be an older one. And then I know I did okay with the Target, because I think when I was buying a couple of Targets, they were $20 and they were, you know, light. They weren't for high calibers. They were for like 22s. And then the Allen band holster. I don't know. You could just put this kind of stuff away if you need it or not. And the Targets, even though we don't normally use pre-printed Targets, we'll use them. And then there's the gun rest. I don't think I'll be using that. And of course, you can't ever go wrong with G.I. Joe, right? And then these ones. This was actually the better deal. So this is why I always check. I always get from my source when she messages me. I always try to get what she has for me because I don't want to upset her and she gives me first dibs. Well, I think she does. I did tell her if she ever finds one with a spider, she might want to hold on to it because I don't want to cheat her. And if she would call me with a spider one, I would be like, that has a spider, I can't afford it, and you're selling it for not enough. So hopefully she knows that. And $5 a piece for these. That was amazing. I don't have this brand at all in my collection, and that's about it. So that's my cast iron craziness. What did I prep today video, because this will go in with the camping things, and we'll actually use that after it's cleaned up. And we'll use all of this, and it's also a good investment, and it's also just good and healthy to use. So that's it, and let me know in the comments what you think of my find, and what you do cast iron at all? So have a great day. Be blessed. Sorry for rambling.